And now something completely different.
Good afternoon. I'm speaking to you live just outside
I like to think balding is just God's way of saying, now let's see you get laid.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
What I'd really like to do is put the greatness of this man in perspective.
The hair loss community has a lot to be thankful for, having you as a spokesperson.
You mean you just call this guy up?
About life and about reality.
And now, America's #1 reality radio show for men. Live from Los Angeles, it's Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Hey guys, welcome to The Bald Truth. Phone number 888-659-3727. That's 888-659-3727. You know, before I tell you who I am and why I'm here, and that's how I usually start the broadcast, but I am pretty excited tonight because we have some incredibly, at least well-known in the hair loss world, guests here in studio in my home at the compound here in somewhere in California. I don't want to tell you guys exactly where I live. But it is a really exciting day for me because I've known these guys for, at least a decade. They are well-known online. They're well-known in the industry. They're well-known hair transplant veterans, hair loss sufferers just like you and I who have been through the mill, who, really, unfortunately, at least initially, took it on the chin. They were conned, they were bamboozled, they were scammed, just like so many of you guys out there who are dealing with hair loss. And then they were lucky enough to find resources and to find help and kind of set themselves on the right track. Let me introduce some real major hair loss veterans. It's kind of like we're crossing the streams here. It's really weird. I have Joe Tillman from Hassan and Wong, and of course Spencer Stevenson, Specs, the famous Specs, who is a well-known online figure and a rep for Dr. Alan Feller and Dr. Lindsay. Guys, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for hanging out.
Thanks, Spencer. Great to be here.
It's amazing that you guys are here. Yeah. I can't even believe that you're here.
Thanks for having us.
And if I'm not good at the camera switching yet, I don't usually do a 3-camera shoot, so just bear with me.
No worries.
So how is your audio? I mean, how's the
it's good.
headset?
Yeah,
Everything's good. You guys can hear
it's
it?
all good. Can hear it nice and clear.
All right, guys, listen. If you're tuning in for the first time, obviously this is the Hair Loss Show. This is a program where we've been coming here for the last 14 years. Started off obviously on local radio in New York City, then went coast to coast, XM satellite radio, and now of course across the internet worldwide, doing this broadcast, helping hair loss sufferers, not just get objective information, but we're really trying to, and I had the camera on Spencer the whole time.
Not a problem.
We're really trying to, provide you guys with a safe place, a place to get completely objective information and to vent, to learn, to share, to be a part of something. Unfortunately, we're part of this. As hair loss sufferers, are part of this fraternity that we don't really want to belong to, and it sucks. It's a major life-altering blow and an ego-altering blow, and the truth is, and I say this all the time, there is life after hair loss, and having these two guys on the air with me really proves it. A lot of you guys are like, hey, Kobren, you never had a hair transplant. You don't consider me a real hair loss sufferer. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, if you look at my comb over up close, you can tell I'm a real hair loss sufferer. And I don't want you guys to answer me.
I wasn't going to say a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, yeah.
Yeah. But the truth of the matter is...
I don't believe you've got anything on there, Spencer, to be honest.
Well, I appreciate that. But, the good news is that there is life after hair loss. And whether you decide to go through the surgical route, whether you decide to use medication, we say this all the time, it doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody's a candidate for surgery. Not everyone's a candidate for medication. Right. But there are ways to find, something, to make you feel comfortable in your own skin. And that's what this broadcast is all about. 888-659-3727. I want to talk to the guys. Maybe you guys, do you want to talk about why you're here in L.A.?
Yes, certainly. I mean, we were given an opportunity by a UK production company called Thumbs Up, who were very interested in finding out a little bit more and scratching the surface with regards to hair loss, hair transplants, and the industry. And we've opened their eyes quite quickly in a short period of time. And they found it of interest that they could get access to the likes of Joe Tronic, myself, yourself, Spencer, and they're interested in just getting some content for, taking this further and maybe getting it a little bit more kind of, mainstream and getting the information out there that we're privy to on a daily basis, and just try to help educate, because there's a lot of people out there that are still, living in the dark ages with regards to information. And fortunately, if we can get our message heard on a different platform, it'll give a lot of people a lot of information to use to their advantage, hopefully.
Well, the truth of the matter is, I mean, there are people that are still living in the dark, and it is, I talk about the fact that I started to lose my hair in the dark ages of hair loss, when there was really nothing that we can do, when hair transplants were plugs, when they were still doing scalp reductions, when they were still doing flaps, when the only information you had was completely self-promoting bullshit that you would find in the back of the sports column in a newspaper, and people are being harmed, people are being ripped off. But sadly, no matter how far we've come, it's still happening today. And we've made a lot of strides, obviously, here with The Bald Truth. We've sold, millions of copies of our books over the years, and a lot of people have been helped. The show has been on the air for 14 years, but we've still only scratched the surface. And that's why I think it's so important that, the mainstream really catch on. Problem with mainstream media usually is, it's kind of like a one-hit thing. There's no continuity. It just happens. People see it, and then tomorrow morning, 200,000 people wake up for the first time realizing that they're losing their hair, and they missed that documentary or they missed that news piece. That's the biggest problem. It's all about trying to, get more of the mainstream involved, obviously, on a regular basis if possible, but really keeping the continuity out there. And that's really, what we do here. And that's what you guys have been doing online forever. I mean, we have, Joe Tillman, the famous Joe Tronic, the mentor of mentors as far as, the online world. And Joe, I'm honored, by the way, that you're here. I'm honored that both of you guys are here, by the way.
It's surreal to be here. I mean, you and I have talked for 10 years, phone calls and online, and I listen to you all the time.
You basically look the same. You actually may look a little younger in person.
And I always thought you were a brilliant guy too.
Yeah, that's true.
Really smart. So, thank you. What you said about about news pieces and people missing that news piece. I think part of the problem is most of the exposure in the mainstream media is just wrong to begin with, or it's just a fluff piece to fill a time spot. There's nothing really serious out there, right? I mean, how many times have we tuned into a broadcast and one of the lead-in stories is, it's not just plugs anymore, or something like that. And it's
a constant thing. That's the way that it is.
Yeah, and that's how it's actually it's great for people going through the procedure, because no one looks at them realizing that they've had a procedure, because all they know are the plugs that they always hear about on TV. But at the same time, the lack of current and in-depth information keeps everyone in the dark as far as what's possible, and it keeps quality work out of the hands, or so to speak, for so many more people that could benefit from it. When I'm reading what's being posted on the various discussion boards, it's a constant battle to try to figure out what's legitimate, what's not. And what I'm talking about is the people coming on saying, "Hey, I just had a surgery with so and so. What do you guys think?" Or asking fairly benign questions, but it's almost like a lead-in to some push down the line, right? Trying to establish a foothold and get some credibility so they can, seem like they're contributing to the forums overall and helping others. And it's questionable. Sometimes
it's not even listen, being on the back end, you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
And while I don't have a tremendous amount of time to go back there and check what's happening, obviously my staff lets me know what's going on. And sometimes it's so obvious. Sometimes you kind of just let it go. Because it's kind of fun to watch things unfold.
You want to see where it leads. Exactly.
It is a bit of a double-edged sword, the whole forum thing, because at the other end of it, there's a fantastic platform for everybody to communicate. And the bottom line is, I wouldn't be sat here now if it wasn't for the forums. And I mentioned it on camera earlier how Joe is the ultimate mentor of mentors, and I have a lot to be thankful for him participating on the forum. So you have to take the rough with the smooth, and without guys like Joe Tronic and me me and other guys out there that pay forward valuable, honest information and try to help educate. You just got to deal with the shit that comes along with the forums.
But what do you think? You just that was an interesting statement. Talking about providing honest, objective information to people who are really in need. There are guys out there that don't believe that what we are doing is honest.
I know you can't please everyone. I agree, Spence. Sorry to interrupt you. I agree. You can't. We've mentioned this before. You can't please everybody all the time. And, unfortunately, we put ourselves out there. We're obviously going to be a target, an easy target. We're a big target to hit, to question our motives and why. But at the end of the day, I didn't get into this industry I got into it via accident, via sheer then passion and because I wanted to help educate, and I'll stay true to that. I'll take the hits, I'll take them, and maybe I get a bit emotionally involved. I'm only human, but there is the forums categorically, yours in particular, I really like hanging out on it. There's some good guys. There are some quality, wholesome guys on that site, and that ultimately what makes me participate regularly on a daily basis. And granted, there are individuals on there that I really don't want to waste my time speaking with when I can spend it, which I haven't got countless amounts of time. I want to spend it productively, Well,
but you see what transpires on my own forum, and that I have to allow, because listen, we don't want to quell free speech. Obviously, we don't want people to defame other people on the internet. But if someone says, "Hey, Kobren's a jerk," or "Kobren's just in this for the money," or "Kobren is trying to protect his interest in the hair transplant field, and that's why he's not promoting certain procedures that really at this point still aren't 100% proven," I just have to sit back and take and say, you know what? And I always tell you this: just embrace the haters, dude. Right. Embrace what we have done in this industry. And I'm not here to pat myself on the back. I wish others would go out there, put their names on the line, and have the balls to put their full names out there and say, you know what? This is how I feel.
Yeah. You know what? It is really easy to critique and to attack and to take the easy pot shots when you're completely anonymous.
The big man on the keyboard.
You're as I call the keyboard cowboys, right? And
that's right.
God bless them. I mean, they're expressing their opinions.
They're entitled to them as well.
They're entitled to it. But
with that said, they're entitled to their opinions. But the truth is, before I made a dime in this industry, I put my neck on the line. I was the first guy to go out there and say, you know what? Basically the emperor has no clothes. Right. What's going on in this industry is complete bullshit. People are being harmed day in and day out. And I put my name on that book, and I put my name out there on the radio, and I have been sued. I have been, hassled, and defamed online. I have been viciously attacked for years. And consumers do the same thing. And the truth of the matter is, I would love to see these guys who are online who are trash talking you guys or trash talking me to put their name on the line and stand behind what they are saying. Have some,
two words: won't happen.
I know it won't happen. What's going to happen? What's going to happen tomorrow? Somebody, and a couple of guys are going to say, "Hey, they had a big meetup at the Kobren compound."
On purpose.
Yeah.
It's all about them,
and they're all figuring it out.
I'm proud of what I've done and what I've achieved, and so should you be, Spencer.
But by the way, I just want to give a shout out to Top Cat. Top Cat, during this broadcast, I'm going to have a live temporary SMP right here on the air. So I want you guys. It's going to be about 10 minutes before the end of the broadcast. So just stay tuned. Phone number is 888-659-3727. That's 888-659-3727. If I seem a little out of sorts, this is my first 3-camera shoot ever. I've had a 2-camera shoot before. So I am running the sound, I am running the board, I am running the cameras. So,
drinking the beers.
And having fun.
Hell yeah.
888-659-3727. We're going to go to the phones, and I'm pretty sure I know who this is. Hey, who's this? You're on the air.
Hey, man, you know what's amazing? I'm 55. I'm well into middle age, and I have a great announcement to make to the audience. My hair is growing. Finally, out of my nose and my ears and my pubic area has become elongated. How bizarre. How very bizarre.
My name is
Joe from Staten Island.
My name is. Excuse me. My name is.
Would you like to reiterate it?
My name is.
Have you heard it? Excuse me.
My name is.
Joe from Staten Island.
Joe, how are you, my man? It's great to hear you. What's happening?
I really.
I'm working on Yom Kippur. It's almost sundown here.
Well, as of 6:40, at 9:47 Eastern Standard Time, you have to put your bottle down, and as you know, you must fast.
Let me tell you something. Jews have suffered enough over the years. I don't need to suffer anymore. I'm going to go out drinking or have a steak or something.
Don't compound the effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what's happening, my man?
I noticed your fellow Halo sufferers are Joe Charnock and the Specs are ingesting alcohol also.
We're all drinking, turning red on camera as usual, and having fun.
How you doing, Joe?
Well, I'm not drinking. I prefer pharmaceuticals, less caloric.
Cheers, Joe.
So what's going on, man?
Well, should I ask the hair transplant specialist ask some questions, or not? Breaking news.
First of all, I think it's important that you know this, Joe. I'm seeing these guys in person for the first time. They both had multiple hair transplants. And you're a guy that comes on the air and says, you know what? You can't have a full head of hair, a full-looking head of hair with a hair transplant. I'm here to tell you that both these guys, honestly, and I'm not shitting them, look incredible. They have, basically full heads of hair. And no one in the street would ever know that there was anything done. So what do you think about that?
Even me, Spencer?
I've got to tell you, even you. I'm not just saying this. Even you, Joe.
That's high praise. That's high praise.
Well, okay.
I'm telling you. No. I think it's important because you've kind of, listen, we love you, Joe, but you've kind of given Joe Tronick a little shit, saying that you can't get a full head of hair, with a hair transplant. And I got to tell you, I'm here to say that Joe looks amazing.
I'm sure he does, but
I'll confirm that also, Joe.
Yeah.
I must admit, first time I've ever met Joe, and unbelievable. I even inspected his donor region, and I was saying it's impossible to even find his scar. And I'm not just saying that. It's ultimately one of the best hair transplants I've ever seen, considering exactly, regardless of that. But he was a repair patient as well. It's phenomenal.
Thank you.
Okay. I'd rather just go on to the next topic. What do you guys think?
All right, let's do it.
Fair
What's
enough.
the next topic?
I'd rather not get to it because we're just in an argument here. So the best thing is I go on to the breaking news.
Hold on. By the way, Specs is not the guy in the black shirt. That's Joe Tillman. That's Joe Tronick.
I know, Joe. I know that handsome boy, Joe Tillman. He's a very good-looking boy.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
So is Specs, by the way. Don't get jealous, Specs.
It's okay, Joe. He's a much better looking man than I.
Look, there's all good-looking guys in the room. You got it, Joe. So what's up?
Get a shot of Andrew. I'll have three beautiful boys in the room.
Oh my God, Andrew, man.
Andrew's a model.
Yeah, Andrew looked like a model. That kid.
Yes, the kid. Yes, I've met the kid several times. Now, you want to get on the breaking news? I have some specific questions for that.
And Billy says that I'm the best in the room. So thank you, Billy. Yeah, go ahead, Joe. I'm definitely the oldest in this room. I'll tell you that. Go ahead, bro.
We've had a very big week, as you know. Should you get onto that, or specific questions to your guest?
No, I think get on to the week, and then you can ask specific questions. I'm going to. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
We'll just switch. Have your engineer just shut off the other calls because I'll need the rest of the show, obviously, for all the information.
All right, you got that. Go ahead.
Well, as you know, L'Oreal. First of all, L'Oreal has been introduced in Europe, as you probably know.
I do know that, and so what do you think? The guys that are using it right now. I mean, what are they saying about it?
Well, they've only been using it for a week, so I think anything I have to say means is useless. You use it for at least 3 months. As you know, I'm in the L'Oreal.
I'm not talking about results, dude. I'm talking about how do they like using it? Do they find it's easy to apply? Do they think does it
feel funny?
Perfumey smell. Yeah.
Is it oily? Is it?
Or is it just bullshit like we think it's going to be? And again, that's just my opinion. Please, L'Oreal, do not send me any legal notices because it's just my opinion. I have no idea whether your product works or not.
Well, Spencer, don't you know me and you will be paid by L'Oreal? You've seen that on the web, on the message forums. We're being paid tremendous amount of money.
I have not seen the check. I have not seen the check from L'Oreal yet, so I'll check the mailbox next week. Let's see what happens.
They sent it to Joe by mistake.
Mine isn't coming yet either. They say it's easy to apply. They use it through a cartridge system. They get 24 vials. They put it in something like an electric toothbrush. And the cartridge is injected into the toothbrush and they apply topically onto their scalp. Whether it works or not, we don't know, but my studies have shown there's a lot of science behind it. It's something similar
you know what? There's a lot of new listeners, obviously, and we have new listeners every week. I mean, when you say your studies have shown, what studies are these, Joe? What exactly? How do you study this product?
Not my independent studies, but I studied from the L'Oreal Corporation, where they presented to their scientists.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, according to your studies, Joe, do you think that this L'Oreal product is going to be of any benefit to any hair loss sufferers?
I can't comment. I think it has definitely scientific background behind it. Just because the fact it's not FDA approved means nothing to me. Because L'Oreal is smart enough to circumvent the FDA by saying it's a cosmetic. Because they're saying it's a cosmetic and it's not FDA approved, in my opinion, and my expert opinion, I would say, is meaningless.
Okay, well, I agree. With that, at least when it comes to this, Joe. So what else? What else do you have on the agenda? Before we take another call,
they will make hundreds of millions of dollars, and these other cats will still be on their microscopes, playing their games.
Okay.
Their different clinical trials.
All right.
Okay, now, the second thing is we know we've been deluded this week with NBC News, ABC News, Fox News, CBS, with the latest cure of vitamin D for hair loss. That vitamin D somehow affects the receptors in the hair follicle, which will lead to a cure within the next year or two, according to the reports that have been given out. I'm not saying it's true, I'm not saying it's false. I'm just reporting the information before I'm attacked tomorrow online.
I think you're actually incorrect. It's not the fact that vitamin D is going to help with hair loss. It's the way vitamin D reacts with certain enzymes in your body. Isn't that right, Joe?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get plenty of vitamin D. I'm in the sun all the time. I'm always outside working or, whatever, hanging out, taking a swim. I don't think the vitamin D is what is helping me to keep my hair at
Well,
this
hang
point.
on. What if you lived in a cave? You'd probably be really bald.
I might be.
I mean, no sunshine, no vitamin D.
Well, when I started in this business, I was living in a cave, actually.
Well.
I was living in a walk-up, one-bedroom apartment. Remember that, Joe?
I knew you living out a can of beans, man.
Pork and beans, bro.
I remember that day, man.
Oh, yeah, the Jewish diet of pork and beans.
I was...
And I remember we eating a steak dinner together. You looked like you eating like... gold or something, man.
Dude, I never had steak. I wasn't able to have steak. I couldn't afford that stuff. Anyway, Joe, anything else before we take some calls? And do you have any questions for our guests? Let's try to keep it.
Well, let me to my final piece of news. I have a couple questions for your guests, if you don't mind.
I don't mind, but we do have some calls on the line, so.
Yeah, well, I have some important news. Our good friend David Picott has been bragging all over the CNBC, all the stations that, as you know, Allergan has set up shop in Bridgewater, New Jersey, hiring 400 additional employees.
Yes.
I'm sure you're aware of that.
Yes.
They're preparing for the release of the Latisse Malbam Panabolus product, and they're predicting $500 million in sales in the first year alone.
I think that's a fair prediction. I mean, let's face it. Right now we have finasteride, which everyone is scared shitless to take at this point. So, now it's like
I'm scared to look at it.
Yeah, we got 3 guys on here. I've been on the drug for 20 years.
I ingested Propecia, as you know, for 3 years. Didn't do a damn thing for my hair, but it made me some horny bitch. That I can tell you.
All right, and Joe, do you want to put you on hold, and you can come back and you can ask some more questions?
Hair transplant questions for your 2 guests, if you don't mind.
I don't mind, but I'll let you ask one question now. Then I'll put you on hold, and we're going to take some more calls.
Pace yourself, Joe. Pace yourself.
As you know, I'm considered to be a hair loss expert. The bottom line is some great IAHRS doctors, such as Dr. Bauman, Dr. Cole, and the list goes on, have stated body hair transplants do work for the beard.
Mm-hmm.
What is the bottom line of this? Like, I know Joe Tronick is against body hair transplants. I know Dr. Fellows.
Hold on, Joe. Joe, how do you know I'm against body? What is against? How do you define against body?
You said your studies have shown in Hassan Awan they don't work.
Really? When?
Have you said that, or am I misunderstanding that?
No, well, it's work is relative, right? I mean, I had it done myself, and what I reported was that of the grafts that were placed, the what we consider to be viable grafts, 27% grew, which, you know, some people thinks, you know, may say that works. It does. Other people say it's a complete failure. So it's all, you know, your point of view. I think it works to a degree, so I take the middle ground on it, right? It doesn't work as well as traditional scalp hair transplantation, and I don't know of anyone that would even begin to have the balls to say so. If they do, you know, God bless them. But the fact of the matter is, in our experience and my observations of, I don't want to say hundreds, a lot of people that have had the procedure done have come through our doors. It can work to varying degrees. Okay, so I'm not against it. I tell anyone that's tapped out and can't get any more scalp hair, of course, go for body hair. That is, I mean, it's a logical next step, because it's basically last resort. And if you got someone coming in that's scarred up from, you know, lifts and reductions and, you know, everything in between, body hair can help. It may not be the most natural looking result. It may not be the highest yield result, but it is what it is. It helps. So I'm not against it. It's just I'm realistic about it. And just to make sure that we're, you know, playing devil's advocate here, not, you know, no procedure has 100%, you know, success rate as far as, you know, strip versus FUE versus body hair, you know, whatever. There's always going to be various degrees of success, but body hair in general, compared to other forms of FUE or strip, what have you, is, from what I've seen and from what a lot of other people have seen, Dr. Cole's mentioned it, that, yeah, it's spotty at best compared to what these other procedures can offer, because it's so much more difficult to extract the grafts. The quality of the grafts just aren't as robust as that from scalp hair. You know, strip aside, just FUE on scalp hair versus body hair, it's a monumental difference. And yeah, body hair, last resort only. I've seen guys that are virgin scalps are beautiful candidates for, you know, a pretty big restoration using scalp hair, and they've been pulled into the body hair myth, and they come out looking like, hey, body hair is on their head, right? And that's what I tell people it looks like. It, you know, if you're going to get body hair on your head, 9 times out of 10, once it grows in, it's going to look like, guess what? Body hair on your head. Yeah. Shocker.
Yeah.
You know,
and what about the guys, you know, who are, you know, they're concerned about getting a strip scar. They are now just hell-bent on repairing that scar. A lot of guys out there, you know, are getting FUEs into the grafts. I think both of you guys have had this done, correct? Or at least I know
I've had FUE into my old Bosley strip scar. Yeah.
And
with good success, with great success.
But you decided, instead of going for more FUEs, you decided to have this temporary SMP procedure.
Yeah, only recently, based on the fact that my strip scar still, and let's face it, it wasn't a deal breaker for me. It was just an option. I'd always looked into options. Body hair for me was never an option. It didn't really interest me.
It doesn't look like you have a lot of body hair to work with.
Well,
anyway.
I've got a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll show you later. But
I got about 3 hairs in my
yeah.
I'm out of here. Thanks. Bye.
Well,
to your own.
How's your pubic region, man?
My pubic region's all right. Thanks, Joe. How's yours? You show me yours, I'll show you mine. But anyway,
I don't have enough beer.
With regards to
very elongated as we become older.
Well, anyway, I'll get us back on topic with regards to I had SMP into my scar only as a test, really, to see how good it could be. And it's quite ironic that I'm sat here with Joe, because it was because of Joe Tronic and his consultations in Italy. I was kind of repeating myself with previous broadcasts, but to new listeners, Joe Tronic discovered Milena Lardi and Beauty Medical over in Italy, and it pricked my ears up with regards to an opportunity to try SMP into the scar to dilute it down, and it's with good success. I'm really chuffed with it. I'd do it again, and it's certainly given me flexibility with regards to options. I can certainly take my hair down a lot lower than I could previously, and not be self-conscious with regards to it. And let's just get this realistically in line. It's a case of, personally, for me, I wanted the option to go a little lower. We're talking a grade, 2 grades lower. It's no deal breaker, but as we all know, as hair loss sufferers, you get a little bit fixated. And tattooing into the sky, tattooing had always been I'd always been interested in it. I'd seen a lot of it, hadn't been very natural, and on going over and looking at this temporary solution, seeing it in person, I was happy to give it a go and be ultimately a bit of a guinea pig for it, and I'm glad I did.
But now you're getting so much shit for it at this point. You know, I mean, there's guys online who are like, you know, I mean, they want you to shave down to a number one. If you don't shave down to a number one, you're somehow a sellout or. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, just to kind of confirm here, I did say that when the time is right, I would go down onto a grade 1. The fact of the matter is the time hasn't been right for me to go down onto grade 1. I went down onto a grade 2 in sunlight, wet, video, high definition video, and still that isn't satisfactory. I didn't say or preach that this is the solution. You can all go down on a grade 1 if not low. I never said that. I said when the time is right, I will go on a grade 1. I can't just drop everything and go on a grade 1. Yeah. So that is ultimately what I'm getting a bit of shit for. But whatever. I did say that. What can you do? What can you do?
I got guys who want me to put pictures online and videos online without my head paint on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. Fuck you. I have a life to lead. You know.
Well, I have a life to lead and a good one and a busy one. So I can't just shave it all off and just for the sake of a couple of people online who, meanwhile, haven't shared any information, haven't disclosed their who they are or shared anything. But yet I'm putting myself forward, face shot, telling my story, going in the paper, documenting it. And we even had a one-on-one live Skype interview with it. I mean, what more can I do physically? But I'm not here to, whatever. I'm not going to please everybody all the time, and each to their
I'd like to bring attention to the
I like talking about it, though.
I'd like to bring
I know you do. You're setting me up for a big...
I'd like to bring attention to the fact that it's just one guy saying this, so who cares?
Well, whatever. Yeah. It doesn't bother me. Spencer brought it up. It's all good.
And that's the thing.
Trust me, I don't worry about it too much.
And no one should worry about it. The truth of the matter is, no matter what, a handful of guys say online, you guys, in my view, have done more for the online world than probably anybody out there. I've had my thing. I've been on the radio for 14 years, have the books, do this thing, and basically just started the forum 3.5 years ago. Meanwhile, you guys have been battling it out in the forums for the last decade. So, and if you ever, you notice my...
I feel old.
God, that just kind of hit me. God, I have no life.
Yeah, but if you notice my forum activities, people have been shitting on me for years. They've been talking about me for years, and I don't even respond to them, whether it was on, the hair loss help forum or the other forums that were popular at the time. I was active for a while, and I sat back and I'm like, what do I need this shit for? I'm just going to do my own thing.
You shouldn't take it personally if people want to kill you. You shouldn't take that personally.
Well, the death threats I do take personally. I mean, that's not a fun thing to deal with. I mean, I'm in the hair loss industry. I'm a consumer advocate. I educate hair loss sufferers. Why are people threatening to kill me?
That's beyond me. I can't.
Doesn't balance out, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, hey, it's a crazy world.
Why? Because I've been taking Propecia for almost 20 years, a ProScar for almost 20 years. I've had really great success. I am still able to get an erection, thank God. And I was going to do a cross, but I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
And,
this is a family show.
Yeah. And
keep your arms down, Spencer. Jesus.
And what am I supposed to do? I'm not supposed to talk about my experience. I'm not supposed to enjoy my life and say, you know what? This is what's helped me. It may help you. And by doing that, I am somehow in the drug company's pocket. I don't make a dime from Merck. I wish I did at this point. They don't, they don't pay my salary. So, Joe, what do I do? What do I do?
Well, Spencer, maybe we should have you witness you getting,
my cheeks are really getting red from this beer. Go ahead.
And I testify that to the online world that you're not affected by Propecia.
I'm not adversely affected by Propecia. I am positively affected with the drug. I've had great success. I look at these guys. They've been through the mill. They have hair transplants. They've saved their hair with using the drugs. Are you on dutasteride or
No. I took dutasteride for a few years, and it is a monumental waste of money. I'd seen
compared to Propecia.
Yeah, well, we were one of the first clinics to really start, not really promoting it, but writing the prescriptions for the patients that were maybe not having the greatest results with Propecia, and looking for just a bit of something extra, right? And I got to tell you, I mean, some of the results from dutasteride were just mind blowing.
Yeah, I've seen some really great results.
And I agree.
Early on, we were thinking, "Jesus, this is going to threaten their business." It's so good. But then we started to see, it doesn't work that well for everyone. It's just kind of a few one-off cases. And I had actually switched to it myself in the hopes of having just that little bit extra, right? Because even with all the work I've had done, Jesus, I still want more hair.
Every little helps.
Every little bit helps. And if anything, it made me fat. I don't know if you've seen the photos from back then. It was like 2006, 2007. I put on some weight. And
now you think it was from dutasteride or just drinking and eating?
That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
So
the late boozy nights and
because
carbohydrate diet had
a couple of big boozing nights. My face is this big. I look like I'm 100 pounds heavier.
Yeah, but no, it was it didn't offer anything for me. So I switched back, and it's just worked out fine for me, on
but
Propecia.
I mean, finasteride, in whatever different shape or form I've taken it over the years, is ultimately the secret to my success. Without it, I would not be or have this head of hair. I mean, you were referring to full heads of hair with hair transplant. Joe essentially is the showcase,
right.
The poster boy for full head of hair. Me, however, that's the right English, I have only had my front third fully restored. I mean, I would have nothing in the front. Meanwhile, the mid to the crown, fact, without being on a combination of Proscar, Propecia, Finpecia now, which I know Joe has a different opinion to me with regards to its legitimacy. However, it's my savior. Without it, I wouldn't have this result today. I've got a lot to be thankful for.
I can tell you that without finasteride, you guys would not be sitting in this studio. This is the house that the Bald Truth built because of my experience with finasteride. If I didn't have success using Proscar, I never would have written that book.
Right.
And I never would have been in a position where I've been able to educate hair loss sufferers the way that I have. So to me, it has been life-changing, or for me. It is something that, I don't know what the long-term adverse side effects are going to be. I don't know if at some point I'm going to be diagnosed with something that, I might not have been diagnosed with if I wasn't taking this drug. But the truth is, for the last 20 years, I've had I believe, a better life because I have been able to slow the progression of my hair loss significantly. And for those who aren't taking the drug, for me, I just think you're doing yourselves, I understand the fear of the possible, long-term adverse side effects, or the permanent or the persistent sexual side effects that they're talking about. But the truth is, it's the best we got. And I think guys are doing themselves a tremendous disservice, and they're wasting so much time and energy on the forums trying to, buy bullshit. I mean, they're getting like, there's guys together trying to get discounts on RU58841. Yeah. Buying it from pharmacies. Who the hell knows what this is?
Well, you lost me at R.
Yeah. That's the way I look at it. It's, it's the next.
I'm sitting. How old are you, Joe?
42.
Oh, you're 42, and you're like in your
23.
30, oh, you're 24, right? Okay.
36.
You're 36. I'm 47 years old, and I would tell you that all of us who have been in this industry for a long time have pretty decent hair. I gotta say. And you came from zero to hero, Joe.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I get this all the time. If you were so bald, why are you taking Proscar? Well, I was really bald, but I could have been more bald.
That's right.
Right. And I was, if you look at for those of you watching at home, if you look at your Norwood hair loss chart, because God knows everyone has one, a Norwood 6 is what I was kind of classified as, but I was actually beyond a Norwood 6 because a Norwood 6 has what we call the parietal humps. The hair is going up onto the top, not quite into the middle, right? Those were gone, and my sides had actually gone down a bit. But they could have gone further to where I could have been a full-blown Norwood 7. I was almost there.
Right.
I don't want to go to Norwood 7. I don't want to lose that much more hair.
Yeah.
Right?
You wouldn't have been able to get where you are now.
That's
if
right.
you'd have gone
course,
there.
Yeah. It'd been just that little bit more than I needed. That
point
I
of no return.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, these guys they really don't get that. And listen, I understand, maybe if this information was out there, if these studies were out there, and I can't even consider what Irwig did a study, but I think it was a good first step towards figuring out whether or not these persistent side effects actually do occur. But, maybe if I had this information, maybe I wouldn't have taken the drug. Maybe if I saw all the fear-mongering, maybe I would not have taken this drug. But my life would have been completely different.
Yeah, I agree. Make no question about it. 95% of the guys taking it now would not be taking it had they read that hard.
That's right.
That freak show of it wasn't even a study. I mean, I read this thing and I'm thinking, okay, everyone, if I remember it correctly, everyone in this, it's a compliment to call it a study, already had the side effects.
Well, the vast majority of the guys were also already on Propecia Help. Yeah. So it was basically a survey of guys who were suffering with adverse sexual side effects or persistent sexual side effects from finasteride. So of course the results are going to be like 90% of the guys can't get it up, and that's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, listen, I'm going to put you on hold, Joe, and I'm going to take a call. All right. So if you have more,
I'm not going to ask the question. I know you have calls.
Dude, it's like 47. It's 49 minutes after the hour. Come on.
I know you guys can't answer the question now, but maybe later on. I want them later on to comment on using the temple regions and the sideburns. I still cannot get a clear answer on that. Is that used or that's not used?
Let me tell you something, Joe. They warned these guys who are here during the documentary that you were going to ask that question. That is priceless, my man. All right, I
can't get a clear answer.
All right, you know what? I'm going to put you on hold. All right.
I'll answer that.
Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Spencer. How you doing?
Johnny, Ohio. What's happening, bro?
Good. Joe Tronic, Specs, how are you doing?
My boy Johnny in the house. What's up, man?
How you doing, Johnny?
I just want to say the hair loss community has two of the most respected advocates that they could have. Two very honest guys. Joe, of course, you've been on the show many times.
What am I, chomp liver?
Well, you're the king of all of us freaks. You know that.
I'm the king of the freaks. Yeah, I know.
King freak.
Well, that's what you sort of made that your moniker. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
Hold on, I feel bad. Marty can't listen to the show. I really feel bad. It's horrible. I'm going to try to put you guys on speaker.
Who can't listen to the show?
Marty, go ahead.
Sex. But there's been some talk, back and forth about hair transplants, and they're not as visible or they're not as good to the naked eye. Joe from Staten Island has this argument all the time, but Joe Tronic is a walking testament that hair transplants can give you the illusion of a full head of hair. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely, and we actually just lost our Skype connection, so I'm going to try
I'm
going to try to get back in with Skype to get us back on the air. But go ahead, Johnny.
But no, I think that having these guys on, Spencer, it opens up the world to hair transplants. It lets the folks at the Bald Truth, and through the GFQ network, see that there's people that can be reborn in a sense, because I know Joe Tronic, especially when he chronicled his journey, and so did Specs. I mean, these guys put themselves out there for everyone to see. I mean, it was something that a lot of people don't have that. I mean, I don't think I could do it. What they both did.
Are you kidding me, man? I mean, it's unbelievable that these guys both came out and went public, and it's not an easy thing to do, and that's why, I have little tolerance for those who are bashing people like Specs and Joe Tronic. And listen, people bash me all the time, but these guys put their name on the line. They put themselves out there on a regular basis. People know who they are. So for those who are out there trying to bash these guys, just put your name on the line. Put your name out there. Let us know who you are. Let the world know who you are, and let's see how willing you are to say the things that you say online when your neck is on the line. I had to get it out there, Johnny.
Sure. And the physicians that worked on them are top notch worldwide. That they had the restoration done. I know Joe Tronic's had some a bad experience a couple times. And Dr. Wong, I mean, he was like a magician. He worked magic. I look at you now.
He actually does do magic on the side.
He really, yeah. Actually, he's performing this Saturday at Caesars. Johnny.
Tickets.
Yeah, Johnny, I appreciate that, and I need to make it clear, as I've had to make it clear over the past 10 years that what I've been through, as far as you said, being reborn, so to speak. Having so much of a restoration back to, at the beginning, was just a journey to look normal, right? And then getting more and more hair in the.
I'm actually still on that journey, but we'll talk later.
But my case is unique only in the fact that I had been through so much before I had landed in the hands of Dr. Wong that it was simply my physiology that allowed me to have so much hair transplanted over, the subsequent procedures after my first one with Dr. Wong. So, guys can't look at my results or look at my journey and say, that's what I'm going to do, because it's not going to happen.
Oh, you're an anomaly in that respect. But on the same token, I mean, there's guys out there that can get fixed or that can get have an improvement in their life.
And you know what? You're right, and that's really important for people to understand. Is just because you can't get, say you have the degree of hair loss I had, or in addition you're a repair patient like I was, even if you can't get full coverage, as long as you look normal, that's 80% of the journey. And because the last thing you want is to have people looking at you because you stand out as something unusual. Right, and
like a freak. I hate to say it, but it's an oddity.
It is an oddity, and like I was telling these guys filming from the UK that, when you have something like that on your head, it's just, it weighs on you like a brick, or like a ton of bricks, so to speak, and it's you can't escape it. And so to have, my first procedure with Dr. Wong, it wasn't to get this big, head of hair. It wasn't to get flowing locks and all that bullshit. It was just to look normal. That's all I wanted. And obviously I got it. And, my journey afterwards, the documentation and, eventually, mentoring and being the first guy to really share the surgery and the way it unfolds, it's a labor of love. It's a passion because, my ambition was to help guys make a better decision. Whether they went to Hassan Wong or not, it wasn't the main deal. It was just don't go to a hack. Know what the warning signs are, and find a doc that works for you. If they come to Hassan Wong, great. But if not, as long as they have the information to make a solid decision, then my job's done.
Hey, Johnny, listen, yes. we're going to take another quick phone call and take a break.
Sure,
did you have a last question for these guys?
Well, the only thing I would say is when we get young guys in the room, and they're asking about who to talk to, who to go see. When Joe's in the room, Joe Tronics, I always tell them, talk to Joe, PM him. If he'll set you straight, and I'm sure if Specs were in the room, I would give him the same advice, to talk to him as well. Spencer, great show, man. This is really good.
Dude, it's like the crossing of the streams, man. I'm freaking out here. We're drinking, and
you guys ain't got into the Jack Daniels yet, have you?
Not yet.
Oh God!
I didn't eat much today. I had a lot of stuff to do before these guys came over, and I was running around doing stuff. I had to drop off the dog, and by the way, we have a 110-pound German Shepherd who is not here today because you guys might not be too happy with the way he reacts to you guys. But,
fair enough.
And I had my first beer. I'm like, Jesus, I'm buzzed already. So we're having a good time.
Great job, man. Look, it's a great show, and I'm going to hang up now. And Joe from Staten Island, my brother from another hair loss mother. Take care, all right?
All right, guys.
Johnny, thanks for calling.
Johnny, thanks a lot for the call. We'll talk to you later. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. We're going to be back to take your calls, but for now, we're going to have a couple of drinks. I'm not going to have a couple of drinks, but maybe one drink during the break. And we'll be right back after these messages. Stay with us. By the way, if you're just tuning in, I have some of the two most well-known online hair loss gurus in the world are sitting in studio with me. We have on camera 2, Joe Tillman, Joe Tronic from Hassan. Of course, on camera 3, we have Spencer Stevenson, the famous Specs from the online world, who is an online rep for or a rep for Dr. Alan Feller and, of course, Dr. Lindsay. And now you are getting involved with SMP, scalp micro-pigmentation, because you've actually had an experience that we documented on this broadcast.
Yeah, that's correct. I recently had a SMP session into my old Bosley scar, and as a consequence of that, putting it out there online with your help, got the opportunity to work alongside Beauty Medical, who I had the procedure with, who have become since quite well known within the community for SMP and their temporary technique. And yeah, it's very exciting to be part of it, and it gives it another kind of adjunct to the industry with regards to helping certain individuals. It's not for everybody, but it certainly gives certain hair loss sufferers, especially repair patients, scar patients, options, and that's what it's all about.
You know, you're sitting next to the guy who actually brought this temporary SMP to the consciousness of the bald truth community. Joe Tillman,
indeed,
who was a guy that came on this program and said, you know what, I am not a fan of SMP. I'm not a guy that would ever recommend anyone having a scalp tattoo. But I saw this chick do this procedure in Italy, and it blew me away. And I was like, all right, I want to hear about it.
You know what's funny about that is leading up to this trip, going to Rome, SMP had been on the various discussion boards for quite a while, actually. I mean, it had been building up for a while, and there's these different companies that were kind of separating themselves from the pack as far as the work that they do. And I was never sold, just like you. You know, we talked about this on air and offline, how it was just, leading to disaster or the potential for it. And this trip, for the most part, did not change my mind about this scalp micropigmentation. Every result I had seen, be it in London, be it in Rome, I think we even saw, I don't know if we saw one in Madrid, but definitely Rome in London, every one of them were obvious to me. I mean, I looked at it and it's like, maybe from 20 feet at best, 10 feet.
Well, if I could be even more candid, I thought it was ridiculous. I thought every scalp micropigmentation process I've ever seen, whether it was, I saw some here in Los Angeles, I saw some guys who are actually in the UK, who are promoting it pretty heavily, and I saw 2 patients of theirs, and I was like, you know what, I mean, maybe if the guy was sitting where Marty's sitting at this point, maybe it would look okay, but upon any type of social inspection, 2 or 3 feet, it looked really phony to me.
And not only that being an issue, but it's permanent. So it's not just phony now; it's phony 20 years from now.
And what about? I don't care.
And potentially worse.
I don't care. You read about these, true colors or real blacks or real browns, whatever it is. Anyone who's ever had a tattoo knows that tattoos fade.
Exactly.
That's just the way that it is, and especially if it's on your head.
Yeah.
You're walking. I don't care what you try to do to avoid the sun. You're walking back and forth to your car. You're just going out there playing with the kids, whatever it is. It's going to affect.
It's cumulative exposure.
Exactly.
It eventually fades. And so when we were in Rome, we had seen a couple of cases where it's like, hey, wait a minute, this actually looks pretty good. What's going on here? And turns out that it was Beauty Medical Milena Lardi. And she'd actually contacted us through our translator while we were in Rome and said, hey, I understand, Hassan Wong or Dr. Hassan's in Rome. I really want to meet him. So she came down with her partner, Giorgio, and one of the guys that were in our consultations, he was actually helping to translate as well. It's kind of like it's a big party, basically, when we go there. All these guys are hanging out, talking to the other guys about hair loss.
That's what it's supposed to be.
That's what it's supposed to be, and it's great fun. But one of those guys also had the procedure with her, and it was perfect for him because he wasn't balding. I mean, he was diffused thinning, but not to the point where surgery would be warranted, right? even with the finest instruments and the greatest care, there is a cutoff point where surgery can cause some shock loss. So he wasn't a candidate for that, but the S&P was ideal, and she did a procedure on him, and it was outstanding. And I was able to see this up close, and it was the ideal permanent, so to speak, form of topic or dermatch or what have you. And not only did it look good, the greatest thing about it was in roughly 2 years, give or take, it's gone.
And that's what intrigues me. And, honestly, on a personal level, I don't mind painting my head. I don't mind going into the bathroom, putting on a ton of hairspray and painting my head, because it is what it is. I've been doing this for so long. I don't expect to have the perfect head of hair. I don't expect to camouflage or fool somebody. My wife knows I paint my head, and that's just the way that I live.
And it looks damn good.
Well, thank you.
It's really good.
I appreciate it. And that's just the way that
hats off.
That's the way that I live my life. No pun intended, hats off. But, there are people out there that expect me to get these procedures done just because I'm allowing you guys to talk about them on my show.
Yeah.
I don't want to have it done. I'm not going to sit here and have a scalp tattoo if it's not something that I feel is going to enhance my life, and might enhance my life. But the truth of the matter is, it takes me 5 minutes to put the paint on my head.
Exactly.
What's the big deal?
But Spence, if you did that, then I wouldn't be able to get it done and con everybody into having it done.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's
I
true.
beat you to the punch,
That's
buddy.
true.
Yeah.
Damn it,
You're
it's
right
exposed.
Yeah, but the whole SMP thing to me, you've all seen and I'd seen, it just wasn't very natural. So for when I saw this, I flew over to Milan and met with Beauty Medical and saw it for myself. And it was, as Joe just said, it was just like, gosh, this is really good. And because my scar had given me, it was basically for me the next step. Look, I'm going to have this done into my scar. It's going to be a test. We're going to have to, the chips fall where they may. But the fact I'd done enough research, ran it by, informed people, spoke to Dr. Feller, Dr. Lindsay, Joe's kind of not endorsement. It wasn't about that. It was the fact that he brought it to the table. He felt it was something worth researching further.
Yep.
After I'd seen it in person myself, I was blown away in person, not just on one patient, on several. And for me, it was worth, rolling the dice, trying it, and it worked. Now, I'm still only a few months in. It's going to take a couple of years, and I'm heavily kind of making people aware that at the end of the day, I'm new to this as well.
Right.
I just stepped up to the plate and did it and documented it. Meanwhile, I had been asked by this clinic, because of my profile and the fact that you'd helped, document it with me, we'd put them on the map pretty much overnight.
That's right.
So I'm going to say, yeah, I'll help you, because at the same time I can help try and educate people and put them in tune with this, because I genuinely feel what they are offering is unique and very different.
If you are doing something that you've done for yourself that you think is going to change people's lives, there is nothing wrong with attaching yourself to a company that is going to help people, that you truly believe is going to help people.
And let me add something here. Is what you did was in real time, basically like what I did with my hair transplant surgeries 10 years ago. As you were documenting, you had no idea how it was going to turn out.
No, but
it was done live.
But I still documented it.
Yeah, you still document it, and
I can guarantee you,
there
there were people that were hoping for the worst.
Of course they were. Hey, it'd be great to see specs fall.
That's right.
That's human nature.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, sorry guys, sorry I let you down.
I really hate people.
I lost $50 on that.
Yeah. Don't worry, I made a lot more than that.
888-659-3727. We're going to go right to the phones. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Spencer. This is Chris, the one that you helped last year with the large hair transplant company that I cannot legally name.
Chris! Chris, how are you, man? What's going on?
Hey, I'm pretty good. I called in because Joe's there, and he knows a lot about my story, and I heard you say Spencer works for Dr. Feller, and I spoke with him through email about a month ago, about 4 or 5 times. So I was actually recently talking with Joe last week through email again. So I thought it'd be a good time to call in.
Sorry, I hadn't been real up on the replies there. I've been traveling, so.
No problem, man.
We chatted, so we're good.
So I helped Chris get a refund from this large chain hair transplant company, and now this chain company is like they hate me. They absolutely hate me.
I wonder why.
They've written stuff about me online. It's insane. And you know what?
Really, I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah, you know what's funny, Chris, is that in my view, you definitely deserved that refund. I would not have gone to bat for you if, I didn't think that it was something that you were deserving of. And I believe, and again, I'm not going to name the name of the company, I believe you were misled. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that we were able to help you out.
Yeah, I feel like I was too. I'm still suffering from head pains and headaches. I have one right now, actually, 3 years later, and certain spots in the back of my head still don't feel right. I actually had a job interview about 2 weeks ago, ironically, in the same exact building where these people worked on me. It was one floor above them, and took everything in me not to go in there and try to find that doctor. It was very, very hard for me not to do that, actually. Plus, my hair loss has seemed to get worse the last few months in my hairline. Which
maybe you should just call him and invite him to lunch and say, "Hey, listen, dude. I just want to man to man. I just want to talk to you and say, hey, look, I entrusted you with my health, with my emotional and physical well-being, and you fucked me. I mean, maybe curb your language. Don't be me, but just be polite and just say, you know what, you really affected my life. Is there's, how do you feel about that? And just see what he has to say. Buy him a drink. Don't be angry. Just see what the guy has to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be very.
See, that's the type of shit that I do. And I guess that takes, a little balls to do something like that.
Kahunas.
Yeah.
A couple beers.
Yeah. Maybe 10 beers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, if I can't really exercise anymore, I have a really bad back, so I can't, I probably wouldn't be able to do that anyway, but, any kind of movements to my head hurt, starts to give me a headache. It's like instant trigger. I was looking in a mirror a couple weeks ago, and for the first time I saw on one side of my hairline, I saw these like little like imprints in my head where apparently, they pushed into my head for the hair, and there's no hair coming out of them, and that was quite emotionally damaging for me, on top of everything else. And so I don't know what to do from now on, because I feel like every time on your show I hear you talk about, once you're cut. That kind of resonates with me. It stays in my head and it kind of like haunts me in a lot of ways. I escaped luckily with a very good scar. Joe saw it and told me it's a very good scar, so I got lucky with that. But it's very small and stuff, and I still have quite a bit of hair to where I can cover it still. I can cover the hair loss problems I'm having, but I don't know where to go from here. Like I'm scared, for another surgery. Dr. Feller told me that I told him my story, and he said that he didn't think an FUE would hurt me, but he said he wanted to do like maybe 500 grafts, testing my hairline, to see how that came out. And
well, listen, you have two of the I think the most well-heeled experts who are in the trenches, guys who both had multiple surgeries, guys that work for the best doctors in the world. So I think this is a great opportunity to see, maybe they can give you a little advice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know Chris, and we've chatted. Well, since before his, I guess since before he contacted you, and Chris's case is a bit unusual in that, it's unusual in the fact that he has a textbook donor scar, and from the looks of it, he's not been maimed or any sort of massive wrongdoing has occurred, but he's been through a procedure where the doctor that did whoever it was really messed up the underlying tissue in his scalp, and it's causing these chronic issues that he's having trouble with. And I think that if you're continuing to thin like you've been telling me, like you just shared, the least amount of work that you can get through and still meet your needs and your expectations, that's the way you need to go. If anything, don't do any more surgery, period, because you already have an issue where you're having a hard time being trustful of doctors, which is understandable. But I think that the best thing to do would be to avoid surgery of any kind from here on out. But if you absolutely have to do something, then a small procedure like Dr. Feller suggested, I think, is probably the ideal way to go.
Mm-hmm. Do you think like whatever caused the failures of the hair not to regrow? I can't remember if I asked you that in my last email or not. Would stop any kind of future success?
You know what, Chris? Here's one differentiating factor. The clinic you went to before are rank amateurs. Mm-hmm. Dr. Feller is a professional. He's damn good at what he does, and he's not going to bullshit you. Mm-hmm. And so I think that his approach is very rational. I think it's safe. And, it's not to say that there won't be issues, because it's always a crapshoot. We don't always know 100% what's going to happen. But in this case, I think it's sensible to take it slow and cautious, because I think you deserve that. You deserve some restraint. Mm-hmm. You don't need to go in and have someone hit your head guns blazing trying to get everything they can to carpet bomb the area, so to speak. You need to take it in baby steps.
And I also agree with the fact that you've already been harmed. You've already been through the experience of being disappointed with surgical hair restoration. Would you be able to deal with the possibility of it happening again? What happens if you go to the best doctor in the world and it could be a fail? How would you deal with that, Chris?
Yeah, I know. I thought about that too. If it wasn't for the pain that I always suffer still, and the weird feelings in the back of my head and whatnot, I think I would have been able to accept, well, it didn't work, maybe probably because the doctor I went to, I'll just try something else, another doctor. But just the pain is just a constant reminder, and that's what scares me the most, I guess, because I'm still kind of lucky. I feel 32, and I'm 32, and I feel like I still can cover up my hair, quite a bit. My hair loss, the way because of the way I wear my hair, and I'm starting to have to use a lot of Topic, in the front of my hair and stuff now, which I really didn't have to use at the beginning of the year. So,
and Chris,
I know that.
Chris, let me just I failed to address the main point of your question. I apologize, but you're asking about the growth issues, and just from you telling me or telling us that the incision point or the placement point that the grafts were placed in your last procedure, that you can see them now, tells me right away that you had a graft jammed into an incision that was too small, and you have compression of that graft into the tissue, and you probably have a divot that formed, kind of like on a golf ball, right?
Yeah.
The pitting that we have from people using these needles and jamming in a graft regardless of the size. A lot of times it's like putting a square peg in a round hole, and that's what's happening with you.
Just briefly, Chris. Hi, mate. There. Just to reiterate what Joe said. In light that you're still experiencing the pain, and your hair loss isn't, you've got it essentially under control, or cosmetically you have. As Joe said, and I'll reiterate it, I would press pause and just hold out before you have any further surgery. See if you can get some kind of confidence back with regards to this pain. Get it under control, because in a couple more years this pain may have subsided. You may get a little bit more confident. You may well then feel that the time is right for a little small FUE procedure. But right now, rushing into it, not rushing into it, I'm not saying that you are, but don't feel under pressure to get it done. Just take your time, especially if you're feeling this pain. It's certainly a good idea to wait, and before you move forward, try and get a little bit of a control back on your physiology and your physical situation. That's my opinion there.
It's the pain's weird. Like it didn't happen for like 2 years or so. I didn't really have any pain for a while. I always had weird feelings in the back of my head, but about a year ago, when I found Joe and contacted him, my pain was like, it was unbearable. I remember the first time I called Joe and talked to him, I just like broke down crying on the phone with him because I was in so much pain and I couldn't take it anymore. And he's the one that referred me to Spencer. And then I started to get steroid injections from last September to like last December was the last time I was there. And that seemed to help. The pain went away for quite a while, then started to return the last few months again. And that's what keeps messing me up. It's like, why does it go away and come back? And so I don't know. It's just been very stressful. Then to see my hair loss progressing, like it has the last year, it's just been very hard on me because I don't know what to do from here. I don't know if I should take the Propecia plunge, or if I should do something else, or...
Well, you know what I find interesting? So you haven't, and I forgot about this, you haven't taken Propecia yet.
No, I took it a few times when I was, I think 26. I tried it for a few months, and I wish I would have stuck with it at that time, because I really didn't have a lot of problems at that time, and wish I would have stuck with it, but no, I haven't.
Now, why did you choose not to stick with it?
Well, all the things that you guys have talked about recently, as far as the side effects that I read and whatnot, I thought, well, I can handle it for a few more years. I don't look too bad yet, so I just went off of it. Really, no reason.
How long have you been taking it?
I haven't been taking it for about. It's been about 6 years since I've been off of it.
But when you were taking it, how long had you been on it?
A couple months. I'd say maybe 2 or 3 months. Okay. I don't remember ever having any problems from it.
And that's the thing, Chris. I don't recall a single case where someone came down with these side effects after, at most 6 weeks of taking it. The way that I have, my opinion, my experience, if you don't have these side effects inside of 6 weeks, they will not manifest 3, 4, or 5 years later.
Joe, you better watch yourself, man, because there are going to be people out there.
Oh my God! It's my opinion. It's what I've seen.
Joe Tronic is saying that this doesn't happen. There's no such thing as post-finasteride syndrome after you start taking the drug.
I know I'm a horrible guy. To hell with me for stating what I've seen.
You are not allowed an opinion, Joe.
And the same with me. I'm not allowed my opinion, my experience, the fact that I've had such great success using the drug and without adverse side effects. Just the fact that I state that, because I'm in the position that I'm in, I'm endorsing the product, and I am somehow, putting everybody in harm's way. And the sad fact is, Chris, that we probably all agree here in this room that guys who are, especially a guy like you who didn't have side effects, probably doing yourself a disservice by not using the drug, because you might be in a position now where you wouldn't even be considering having another surgery if you were continuing to use the drug.
Yeah. I like I said, the pain is what worries me the most. I want to get on the Propecia. I thought about it, but I know it's a lifelong commitment and stuff, and it's like, well, I don't know if I should try that, but at this point, I'm kind of like at my wit's end. Like I said, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of why I have all this pain. I saw someone in the chat room ask if the pain is in my scar, and it's not. I mean, I'm touching my scar right now to see if there any pain comes out of it. Nothing from there. I have to get an MRI on my head because I told my doctor about this a couple months ago. He wants me to get an MRI of my head and my back because of my back problems. I had a CAT scan of my head about a year ago, and there was no problems. They didn't find anything then. So I don't know where to go from here, kind of,
Well, I'll tell you what. Listen, Chris, we're going to take some more calls, but if you want to call in next week, I'd be more than happy to talk to you. You could always email me. You and I have been in personal correspondence before. Yeah. So I'll give you the best advice I can. I know that Joe has been helping you out as much as he can. As far as where do you go from here, look, none of us are doctors. It's difficult for us to diagnose what your issue is. All we can tell you is, you know what? Tread lightly. Be cautious. You've already been burned. You can be with the best doctor in the world. You could be with Hassanwag. You can be with Alan Feller, and something can go wrong. And if you can't deal with that, then I think you need to just, take a pause and just, see what happens in the next couple of years. Maybe you need to focus on trying to, develop your life a little bit and not, I know it's hard, believe me, but, maybe put the hair loss thing aside. Maybe consider seeing your doctor and seeing if he's, if you're interested to put yourself on Propecia. That might be an option as well to see how you do for the next year instead of jumping into surgery.
Yeah, and I mean that's part of slowing down and taking your time on this, because I think that you have another issue that might be a bit more pressing than the hairline issue, and that's the pain that you're going through, not just your head but also your back. You need to get yourself sorted to where you can think straight, right? You can't have this constant issue nagging at you, bugging you, distracting you from these other issues. So, like I said before, slow down, take stock in where you're going, and try to talk to some other doctors about these issues with your back and your head, and go from there.
Okay. All right, Chris, man. Listen, thanks for the call. I wish you the best of luck.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. 888-659-3727. We have a few minutes left on the broadcast, or for the broadcast. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Spencer. This is Vic from D.C.
Vic from D.C. What's happening, bro? How are you?
Hey, good. Hey, this is a great show. You got Specs and Joe on the show, and it's great.
Dude, what's even more bizarre is that they're in my house. That's what's screwed up about this whole thing.
And it's a bizarre house.
That's right. It's a freak show in this house.
It's that's amazing. Pretty bizarre.
Well, I've been listening so far to the show, and there have been a bunch of wonderful questions asked, and I have a few more. I'd like to start with Specs, if that's okay.
Of course.
Okay, so Specs, one thing that I recently read on the internet, well, of course, on Google, was men in UK are far more comfortable in their own skin when they go bald. Now, you have been helping people throughout all across the world, but I think your origin is, of course, you're British. Is that true? I mean, I just read this on a blog.
I am British.
Jesus.
Yeah. Sorry, don't worry, man. I get the question. Yeah, no worries. Hopefully you can hear me okay. To be honest with that, I don't know where you read that. I find it a hard statistic or fact to believe, but I can assure you, English, UK, British men suffer with the same anxieties just as much, just as they're just as poignant, they're just as kind of, real, regardless of where they come from. So I don't know where you read that statistic. I am from the UK. I deal with a lot of UK guys, and we all share the same kind of common anxieties and issues with regards to this disease that we all have. I think that statistic can be written.
What I will tell you, Spence, is that as far as Bald Truth Talk is concerned, we're the number one forum in the UK, and I think there's a reason for that, because you guys, I don't know where you heard this, Vic, but the truth of the matter is, at least from my vantage point, the European guys seem to be more messed up about hair loss than the American guys. I don't know why it is.
The thing is that I was just doing, I wouldn't say random research, but and I came across this blog, and there was this guy on there who was saying that, well, men in the UK and some parts of Europe, they're far more comfortable in their own skin because they said that the women there are more accepting of men who have lost hair. I don't know if that's true. That's why I wanted to ask.
They're more accepting of not having great dental work, but I don't think the hair is a.
I think we accept a lot of things, but I think you can dismiss that statistic wherever you found it. The fact of the matter is, I don't think it matters where you come from.
My observations, if I can interject, Vic, I deal with a lot of UK patients as well, and the one thing I've learned is that the patients from the UK and society in the UK in general is much more. They don't like to seem vain, and so they don't talk about it nearly as much. So they're always putting on a brave face.
I see.
Yeah, it's almost taboo.
That's probably what throws the control out.
Yeah. It's almost taboo to even talk about these things because a proper British gentleman just does not worry about his appearance.
Hence the irony of my story. I've kept my kind of hair transplant kind of journey completely secret, even to close friends up until late. So I think
meanwhile, I'm showering on video.
Look, I'm Jewish, so I can be openly neurotic. So for me, it's okay.
Yeah.
But for you guys,
I can't.
Yeah, you can.
I could not previously, but obviously I decided to come out for personal reasons. But anyway, I think Joe's hit the nail on the head there with regards to British people as a society. We
stiff upper lip and all that.
Yeah, right? I think that's it. I think you've nailed it.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense because I was just curious and that definitely makes a lot of sense. But throughout both of your journeys as hair loss advocates and hair loss experts, have you ever the people, what would you say is the psychological thing that people have who are able to just shave their heads and move on? Because I don't have that. I've tried, and it takes me a good deal of alcohol to move on with.
Tell me about it, bro.
Same for us. No,
just to do the
I'm
show.
drunk all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm drunk constantly.
So you're saying what do you think, or what do we think is the strength psychologically to just shave it head and move on? Is
the
that what you're
guys
asking?
can deal with it.
Yeah, shave their head, or some people just.
But
go
dude, you're
natural.
talking to three people that don't have that
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah.
I'm not equipped to deal with it. Why do you think I wear my hair the way that I wear it?
I respect those people that have been able to do that. I wish I could have done it. God, it would have saved me a lot of
You know what's funny is before I even had my first surgery, I was in the Merchant Marines and had my head shaved. It was a pseudo military boot camp. It was kind of funny, but I shaved my head and it looked pretty damn good. I have a good head shape, and I look back at those pictures and it's like, damn, why didn't I just stick with that? But I wouldn't change anything for the world right now. But a lot of those guys, I think it's a mixed bag, right? You got some guys that don't know about the quality of hair restoration. They don't know about Propecia. No one's ever talked to them about it, and they've not even really cared enough to really investigate because they think it's just too much money, or who knows? I mean,
who knows?
It could be anything.
Some people can just deal with it. I mean, not to say that they don't have anxiety or issues around it momentarily.
That's key. I think throughout.
I think they just
deal
park
with
it early doors.
But they just kind of keep it inside, and because I can't think of a single guy that shaved head or not can completely dismiss the idea that they have lost their hair.
Well, everybody would rather have hair than not have hair.
If those guys are out there, then more power to you.
Yeah.
God bless you. But I think it weighs on everyone's mind to some degree, whether they even want to admit it or not, simply because of the society that we live in.
Yeah.
Now, shaved heads are much more acceptable, but let's be real with ourselves here. Not all of us look like The Rock. Okay? Not all of us look like Vin Diesel.
Well, speak for yourself, dude.
I mean, you look like Adonis.
You're
but,
close, Spencer.
I'm getting there. Yeah.
You are. Those 12-ounce curls. But, it's... we'd all love to look like Jason Statham, these movie stars that have, armies of makeup people and perfect lighting, but it just doesn't happen in the real life. You do have some guys that look great with shaved heads that look like studs, but...
There's people with full heads of hair that shave all their hair off, that's the irony. It's like...
But, it's hard to say, Vic. It really is. It's one of those things that you just can't pin down.
Well, Vic, I can tell you this, that I have no idea. I mean, I actually know the guy from who created the head blade, who is a guy that, Todd Green, who is a guy that decided, you know what, I'm going to shave my head, and I have no choice. I've lost so much hair, and I'm going to make a career out of this, and I'm going to develop this product. And he's a happy guy, but he did say, and I don't know if you heard him on the program a few months ago, that it was not easy for him to make that move. He chose to do it because he thought it was a necessity. He didn't want to have surgery. He didn't know what direction to go into. And he turned his Achilles heel into his career. I will say that him coming out the way that he has and inventing the head blade has changed so many lives and has also helped to kind of catapult head shaving into the mainstream consciousness, which I really appreciate.
That's cool. Yeah.
I couldn't do it, dude. I will, when the time is right, if I need to, transplant, I'll get a little yarmulke wig, whatever it takes, it's going to happen because I want to be the guy with hair on my head. And that's just the way that I live my life.
No, I certainly appreciate all your answers. It's been something that I've been curious about because, hey, let's face it, every time we go to the supermarket, we'll see a couple Norwoods that have completely accepted it, and they're just living comfortably. And I want to know what it is. So that's the reason I...
You know what? Maybe you should do a documentary on it or take a survey.
Maybe ask them.
Yeah. Just
or try it yourself.
Step up there and say, you know what, dude, listen, I'm dealing with this. Tell me what you did. And I can guarantee you that if they are actually guys who are dealing with male pattern baldness, they'll stop and tell you, listen, this is why I've done this.
Hey Vic, have you, what's your situation? Have you shaved your head before? Have you had any surgery? What's going on?
You know what? I have clipped it down to a 0, and personally, I don't mind. But I'm not, like you said, I'm not The Rock, I'm not Vin Diesel. I can't pull it as well as them, and I don't have 18-inch biceps either.
And so that's why it probably works for you, because you're not trying to be something you're not, right? Yeah. You've accepted it, right? You feel okay about it. Then
Yeah. I mean,
look, let me tell you something. The number one thing that you need to really get into your head is that you're not these guys on TV or in the movies, and you're not out. You don't have anything to prove to anyone else. If you can accept, if you're comfortable with it, then to hell with everyone else. Who cares? Man, I mean, look, you shave your head, you are no different than anyone else that shaved their head on this planet. You look just like every one of them, and or no different than any one of them. And the thing is we're too focused on what we think people are expecting of us. We're too focused on what we think will look good to others. You like what's going on. That's cool, man. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and I would say just quickly, back Joe up there. Stick with it, keep with it, wait it out as long as you possibly can, and try and get through that transition zone so you can park it rather than going any further potentially via surgery. If you're in that transition zone of dealing with it, and struggling with it a little bit, keep going with it rather than going down any other route, and because then you've got the options available to you rather than rushing in and having any surgery that you potentially might end up regretting for whatever reason. So fair play to you for shaving it all down, and good luck, and let's hope you can park it and move forward, and get busy with life and get busy with different things, and get other kind of vocations, get other kind of activities involving your life, so you can get past this hair loss thing. So good luck with it.
Hey Vic, listen. Good luck, dude. And I don't mean to cut you off, but we started the show about 5 minutes late, so I'm going to take one more phone call and go about 5 minutes after the hour. So Vic, listen, man, thanks a lot. I really appreciate the call.
I just want to say thank you to all three of you guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling, Vic.
You got it, man.
All right.
Thanks a lot for the call.
Bye.
All right, we're going to take one quick call, then we'll say goodnight to Joe and to everybody else. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Marcus from New York City, and just want to say that I am not having a bad hair day. I'm just having a bad hair life.
Oh, man.
That's very eloquent.
It is eloquent, but Marcus is a guy who's been through so many surgeries, who's had some really bad botched jobs, and is still able to go out there and bang cocktail waitresses 2 at a time and just enjoy his life.
Nice.
You know what, Spence? The only way to make up for a botched job is a blow job.
Hello.
Now, a couple comments and a question, if you would, please.
Yeah.
We mentioned John Cole earlier. I will say this much. As you know, Spence, I've told you I've had body hair transplants as well.
That's right.
And I would differ with Joe Tronick in respect that, at least in my case, and it may be personalized, the body hair that took, and it wasn't much, granted, but the body hair that took is very gratifying.
Hang on, Marcus, how are you differing from me? How are you contradicting me?
You said that body hair would look like body hair on your head. In my case...
Does your body hair already look like your head hair?
No, it looks like body hair.
So you're saying it literally changed its characteristics once it was put on your head?
I'm not going to say that it went completely over to scalp hair, but there's some kind of mean average where it certainly does not look like body hair, but it blends in nice enough that indeed it simulates scalp hair pretty well.
You want to know something? That the body hair that's on my head also matches my head hair.
Fantastic.
Yeah. But what I was talking about was, generalities. I can't, no one can go to a patient and say absolutely across the board it'll work out and look like. That's what I'm talking about, right? I mean, there's always the isolated cases, and that's what mine is, and maybe what yours is too, right?
That's why I prefaced mine with that caveat that it may have been personal just in my case.
Right.
But unfortunately, Cole committed the unforgiving mishap of not recording where he harvested those body hairs from. Can you believe it?
That can be a challenge.
Now, what year was this?
Now, that would have been probably 06.
Okay.
Around 06, 07. Now, I have a pretty good hunch of where those hairs came from.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it would have been nice had he really kept a chart. But so be it.
Well, the great thing is that you can't find them easily if you have to, right? So that's a testament to the way it turned out. It doesn't stand out.
Say that again.
I was saying,
meaning
it doesn't stand out, so it's not. I mean, you can't easily find it, so it's obvious that it blended quite well.
No, but here's the deal. He took it from so many different parts of my body that if I were to do DHT again, I would like to go back to that reservoir that we know succeeds.
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Because I have a feeling that of the 4 or 5 different areas of my body he took it from, only one was really coming back with nice results.
Okay.
Secondly, one other comment and then the question. To our British guest, Specs, it seems to me that the Prince, what's his name? The guy who's hooked up with Kate?
Prince
Middleton?
William.
Oh, yeah, Prince William. I detect that he appears to be doing something about his follicular challenge. Is this correct? Or is that just a misimpression?
I do not know the answer to that question. I'm privy to some info, but not that. I mean, I don't know. I've not watched him that closely of late, but I'll certainly give it a good look. But gosh, he's out there for the world to see. So there's going to be no fooling anybody if he has anything done. Who knows?
I can't imagine him actually having anything done.
I can't. He's gone to possibly. He should have done something years ago, and potentially, in my opinion, should have potentially gone down the finasteride route. He obviously didn't. Or who knows?
Right.
Who knows? You know what? I'll keep my eyes open on that one.
Yeah, he's certainly looking a little fuzzier on top.
Maybe he's using Topic or something. Maybe he's decided to use some concealers. Who knows? I haven't got the pictures in front of me to compare, so I can't.
How horrible is it that he gets so much grief for just something that's natural, something that he has no control over. And I mean, it's like it's insane.
It's because the tabloids in the UK have nothing else to grab onto with him because he's such an outstanding representative of the royal family.
Yeah.
What else have they got on him?
That's true.
His naked wife.
I mean, at least Harry's getting laid and having fun.
Partying.
Harry's having a large time.
We've got ample information on him, but poor William, it's the bald spot.
That's it. He's got
every
a bald
day.
spot.
Has it grown? Is it bigger? What's he doing? What should he do?
That's horrendous.
Yeah. Poor guy. You're not telling me that he's not going to be affected by it as well.
But I mean, he is affected by it. And believe me, he's being stoic like all of you Brits, and especially being who he is. Yeah. But it's got to be tough. He's got to read this and be like, okay, enough already. I'm a human being.
Yeah, leave.
That's
I've seen my hairline recede with my with my self-confidence. I'm sure he has less confidence in front of the camera.
Certainly. Even someone like that has, literally the world at his feet has to feel the sting of the hair loss.
Yeah. Oh my God!
But he's also in the unenviable position where he can't do anything about it, lest the tabloids be all over him. Like Harry.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, Harry would become a back page story to William getting something done about his hair. Yeah,
that is true.
Absolutely. So it is.
I think we'll all know about it if he does.
Absolutely, but it's the stiff upper lip, the stoic nature that he has to, hold true to, just like.
He's definitely following the family pattern, though, because obviously, if you look through the uncles and the father, and it's clearly a hereditary pattern that he is. Hopefully, he can maintain the front because his father has, and his uncles.
And the front means a lot. The front is everything.
Yeah, the frame is what it's all about.
Yeah. All right, Marcus. Listen, man. Thank you so much for calling in.
Quick question, if you would, Spence. Just a quick question. What is the temporary ink made of for this SMP? What are the ingredients of this ink?
That's a good question.
That would be hydrogen peroxide, battery acid, excuse me.
Some asbestos.
Yeah.
That fades over time.
I think charcoal. Yeah.
That's the secret ingredient.
So there's nothing else to worry about. This is great. No worries.
You can ingest it.
No, are they? Is this some proprietary formula, or is it known?
Good question. It's a question that we're all kind of looking into with great interest, and we're waiting on kind of some very poignant information as we speak. So, as soon as we know, you'll know. I think that's the best way we can reply that, mate.
Absolutely. I think
we're all in this together at the end of the day. It's not like we're keeping anything back. As soon as we know, we'll let you all know.
Dude, come on. Don't you know I hold the secret to hair loss. You guys know that. You've read that online.
That's why we're here.
that I've been holding it back so I can continue to make money from desperate hair loss sufferers.
We have your address now, so we'll hold it hostage until we get that secret.
And that don't believe me, that scared me a little bit. It made me a little nervous to give you guys my address.
I picked up on that.
You did.
But anyway, fair play. It's funny, I've got a parking ticket. But anyway, I'm going to sell it on the black market. No, I'm not.
All right, Marcus, listen, man. Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Hey, real quick, Marcus, just keep in mind, Specs and I both have this ink in our heads right now. So
I'm still standing.
We do want to know what's going on with this.
And there's a lot of people that have real ink, all over their bodies. They're still standing.
Put it this way, Joe. If you ever make it to New York City and I see somebody whose head is glowing in the dark, I'll know.
And it'll be Specs.
He probably went to Fella. Hey, good to hear from you, buddy.
Marcus, man, good night.
Take it easy. Bye.
All right, guys, we're going to say goodnight to everybody. Let me put up Joe real quick. Joe, thank you so much for holding on. I'm sorry we had a busy show.
No, but I wish I just 1 minute to expect one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel terrible. Hair loss suffers the man I got it on the air.
Don't feel terrible. That's what you're here for, man. That's what Specs is here for.
Hey, Joe,
hit me. I met Dr. Fell in person. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yeah, I'm aware that you met. I don't know the specifics, but obviously I'm familiar that you have, or I'm aware that you've met Dr. Fell. I can't remember when, but hit me. How can I help, mate?
Yeah, well, he said, he wants to do 1,000, grafts on me. But just two quick questions. I want to use body hair. He didn't seem too happy with that. And I wanted him to harvest hair from my temple area and sideburns, and he didn't really comment on that. Maybe you could elaborate on that.
Mate, I can't speak for Dr. Feller. I wasn't there when you were in the consultation room with him. However, what I would say is if Dr. Feller's not comfortable with doing something, I would take it as kind of valuable advice. Maybe if he can't help you, or you're not happy to move forward with what he's suggested for you, then maybe just keep researching and find somebody that can help you. But I must admit, I am aware that he's not too keen on performing body hair and temple sideburns. I think he'd look at alternative resources prior to even going in there. But Joe, Dr. Fellow's not the only surgeon out there. You're fortunate to meet with him and have a good chat with him in person, which is really valuable. But it's not necessarily a bad thing that he's advising you that it's not possible. So maybe take it as an informed opinion. He does know kind of a lot about this kind of procedure and this what is possible and what isn't, and I'm sure he would only want to guide you as honestly as he could do.
Well, so really quickly, I would like a pre-depleted donor area, and he said he'd start with 1,000 to see how that worked out. He could at least grab 1,000 out of there, which would make some kind of difference.
Joe, like Spence said, he wasn't there at the consultation. He's just a guy that is a patient of Dr. Feller's who had a tremendous success, who decided to then work with Dr. Feller to spread the word of great hair transplants to the online community. So, what is he going to tell you? He's not a doctor. What kind of advice is he going to give you as far as this is concerned?
All right. Well, Spence, one final thing. I'm going to have to castigate you because it's 9:47, past 9:47 Eastern Standard Time. On the Jewish law, you should be fasting.
Not only should I be fasting, I should not be working. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out drinking tonight because, like I said, Jews have suffered for 40,000 years. Why do I need to suffer another day?
Well,
do I need to fast and suffer another day, Joe?
No. All the people you've helped, Spencer, I'm sure you have no sins to cast into the ocean tomorrow.
Well, actually, that was last week, but I appreciate that.
Oh, that was last week.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean.
All right. Joe, listen, thank you so much. Shana Tova.
Well, Shana Tova, I want to thank your guests, Joe Tronick and Specs. They're really handsome boys. I wonder which... I hope you guys will get too drunk. So
I'll let you look at. I'll let you look at the handsome guys.
You have a good eye, Joe.
Yeah.
I hope you guys don't get too drunk. So you never know what can happen, right, Spencer?
We're going to get drunk and shave our heads on a grade 1.
Yeah, maybe in your world,
exactly.
dude. Maybe in your world. Listen, Joe, thanks so much for the call.
I didn't mean that. Spencer knows exactly what I mean.
Guys, 12 minutes after the hour, I really went over time. GFQ Network is going to be pissed off. iTunes is probably not even airing the show at this point. He probably went off the air. So, guys, thank you so much, Joe. We will talk to you later. Listen, let me give out the websites. thebaldtruth.com, of course. If you guys want to participate and interact with other hair loss sufferers, you can check out baldtruthtalk.com, of course, AmericanHairLoss.org. I want to thank my special guests. It's so great to see you guys in person, to finally meet you guys.
It's great to meet you, man. It's
indeed.
I really appreciate. I really appreciate it. It's a treat for me as well.
Thank you for inviting us and having us here.
Oh, are you kidding me, man? It's great. But please forget my address. Whatever you
You'll
guys
have to
do.
get us drunk then.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely do that. I want to thank Joe Tillman and Spencer Stevenson, Specs and Joetronic from the online world for joining us tonight. It's been a great pleasure hanging out with you guys. And guys, until next time, be strong, God bless, and thank you so much for hanging out.